And good morning. Welcome back to another live stream. And top of the morning to you. Happy Monday as we start another week, Bitcoin Miami week. Big week in crypto here ahead. And we'll see if we get some big news in the crypto markets. But we've got a big guest today. Shannon Bray, candidate for U.S. Senate. He'll be on the ballot in November here out of the state of North Carolina. And Shannon, great to talk again, man. We've talked shop before all the way back in November, I think it was, man. How you been?
Oh man, it's been a minute or two. I've been great. Crypto is crypto. There's a lot of things happening. Lots happened since then. I mean, we had an early bear market, right? we had a lot of we have a lot of professionals and experts try to dictate the market and try to tell us how it's going to work, and all we really know is nobody knows what's going on, right?
Yeah.
We get a blip up, ETH jumps up over 3,500. Everyone's like, is it going to be a bull run? No, so
yeah, it's funny, right? I mean, because whether people are running their technical analysis or they're looking at macroeconomic factors, it's like some things you just can't prepare for, like a war in Ukraine, right? And obviously inflation has played a big role, and questions about regulation, because I want to talk to you about that, of course.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You're helping fight for crypto at a high level. So where do you kind of sit with all of that right now in terms of regulation? Do you think it's good? Are there good pieces of it, components of it? Where do you think we're going?
Well, I don't think, while regulation could be good, I don't think that any of it is any good. Crypto's actually already regulated under the current, standards of inside the United States. We don't need to go back and reinvent the wheel. What they're trying to do is go back and reinvent the wheel so they can maximize their taxation and stuff on it, right?
Yep.
Or to find ways to monopolize the space. The thing though is, with it being DeFi, right, and then the birth of all these DAOs and stuff that I'm really starting to see people come up with, that's going to remove the government from a lot of those spaces. But we also want the government in that space, right? We want clear and free elections where we have access to all the data, not necessarily know who voted for who, but we'd be able to tally all the votes, right? And everybody would be known as a wallet ID, right? But we have election security, so regulations themselves can be good if they're not misused. But every law we have on the books has been misused, or, it was made for one good thing and then somebody just twisted it. And, and it starts ending up to be unequally applied, in different economic systems or races. And, it's regulation that regulating something that doesn't need regulation. Well, let me start over there. People think that it needs regulation because they don't want to lose their money, right? And that's a great argument. But what are you really saying when you say you want regulation to help you not lose your money? You want the government to have laws in place in case you don't do your due diligence and you get suckered, right? That's basically what you're saying. You're looking for some protection. But along with that, you're giving up your ability to trade in certain places, buy certain commodities, or anything like that. So they're taking some of your personal freedom and they're trying to protect you from yourself, right? So people are like, oh, well, I want things to be regulated so people don't lose their money, or they have a way to get back their money. And there's some great arguments for that, right? We had the CEO in Canada, right, when he split. People were like, regulations would have been good, but they were already regulated under the securities and stuff. So it's going to see how that comes out to play. But the regulations that are currently on the books are really more for, they're right now targeted at central exchanges so that they do proper reporting. They've already got me. I've been brainwashed. so that they do reporting, so that the IRS can come in. And the IRS is massively hiring this army of people, right? And it's not to go after the big wigs because they already have people for the big wigs. They are hiring this massive army to come after all of our citizens, right? And crypto's a huge target. So, and if the people, especially our listeners to this channel, aren't thinking about crypto in the next election, then we're in trouble. I mean, we need everyone on my platform, your platform. I mean, to seek out these representatives and get them in place, right? Not too overly, because Biden's like, look, I'm not going to tax anyone under $400,000. Well, I don't make $400,000, and you're hitting my crypto pretty hard, right. And you're trying to come in at it even more. And if I do happen to make over $400,000 because something goes on a run, I don't necessarily want to be, taxed in a higher bracket. It's just a way that those infrastructure bills and all of that was free because they're trying to come off the back of crypto. And a lot of people just don't understand that. So we need to find those representatives. And it's tough because people now are like, oh yeah, I do Bitcoin. What the hell has that got to do with anything? That doesn't tell me you understand the industry. That doesn't tell me you understand blockchain and implementing blockchain at government levels for transparency. It doesn't tell me you understand the benefit of XLM and or why proof of work and proof of stakes exist. And you have to know all of this. You have to know what DAOs are, right? It can't just be about, I trade Bitcoin, because that totally misses the mark of what we need our leaders to do. That's fine for our next door neighbor, right? Oh yeah, I'm a crypto expert, I buy Bitcoin. We don't care. We don't want her making our regulations because you have to understand the entire industry, I think. And we don't have anybody who does that, right? We may have one or two people in tech at that level. We don't have the right people at the right caliber at that level, though.
Man, just amazing opening statements here. I mean, there's so many questions that can come from just that statement. Shannon, so glad you're back on the channel. Guys, if you're not following Shannon over on Twitter, make sure you're doing so. As he said, we need these type of leaders in the U.S. who understand blockchain. So your background, Shannon, is in cybersecurity. When did you get into crypto, and how have you kind of utilized your background and brought that into crypto?
I got in crypto early, and I also got out of crypto early. I kind of dabbled. I'm like some of the early guys had Bitcoin keys somewhere, and I can't, remember.
You and me both, bro.
But it was really the beginning of last year when I decided to start using cryptocurrency as a retirement mechanism, right? To where I was serious enough to go, you know what? I think I can actually do better than my 401k. And that was probably May of last year when I just started putting lots of money in. And then, in June, my lots of money wasn't lots of money anymore. I had actually put everything in and then watched it crumble at the beginning of June. Slowly watched it come back out. September crashed. But then October, ever since October, I've been in the crypto green. Mostly, Shib was a big win. When I look at my coin tracker, it's still up over 1,000% from when I entered that one. So that's been Shib has been Shib changed my life, right? I come in as a unknown politician, really. And I'm just going off just Twitter following, where I'm, riding between 1,500, 2,000 followers over the course of a year. And then, I make one post about Shib, right? And they're not all Shib Army, but now, you got 65,000 followers that are into crypto. So that at least let me know that crypto is a platform to where even if I'm not speaking to the people of North Carolina, I have a responsibility probably, to speak for the country, and not just the country, but really now the entire industry. So it's no longer about whether or not I get elected. It's if I do get elected, what am I going to do? And then if I don't get elected, how do I further, this to protect our industry? And ultimately, that's all that matters. I mean, I'm a politician. Nobody's ever heard me ask for money, ever. I do have a little way that people can if they particularly ask, but I plan on doing this whole thing with just publicity, my own crypto, and what I'm trying to do is that you can make major changes in our society without requiring a sweat equity of the people you're trying to, most of these people control. They're taking money and they're spending billions of dollars in advertisement, right? And up until this point, I've spent zero on my campaign ads, and I spent, what was it, $1740 on my registration that I actually sold Shib for. That way I could say that Shib paid for my to get into my political race. So
yeah. And it's so cool that Shiba Inu kind of brought us together. But I think what you said, something there was really important, that yes, you're running in the state of North Carolina, and a lot of people in chat saying you've got their vote, by the way. But it's bigger than that, right? It's much bigger than that, because you've grown such a big platform now on Twitter, and we need people like you who understand the industry inside and out, who understand the benefits. So, Shannon, something I always hear, and guys, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you come over and follow Shannon as well. But definitely hit that like so this gets pushed out to more people. People need to hear this. But I think something that, I hear all the time, especially from people who don't understand crypto, is that it's only used for bad actors, that it's all a Ponzi scheme. It's all, it'll never last, right? And it's all these people who, A, probably aren't invested, B, probably haven't done their research or homework, and 3, just simply don't understand. How do we change the sentiment there? And do you see?
I can tell you, the
changing?
most anonymous way to send money is out of a military plane in an airdrop. When they drop you just millions of dollars on a pallet, right? You don't even know where it's going. You don't know where it came from. It's gone, right? Blockchain's not that. People think that it's some mysterious way to hide and get around all of these things, but it's really, how can we be that and also be the most transparent thing possible? The only thing you don't know is who owns those addresses. But if you happen to catch something, you can back that up all the way to the beginning of time, right? So it gives us a great mechanism for everything that needs transparency. And if it doesn't need transparency, it shouldn't be on the blockchain, right? There's other things out there. There's other blockchain technologies that are made for privacy. They're not as open, as the blockchain and stuff. But, we have all sorts of different techs that are very blockchain-like that we would use for, maybe government operations and where top secret information is held. And so, yeah, there's all sorts of things going on. I see the little let's go Shiba Inu. But yeah, I'm sorry, that got me off.
Yeah. Let's let's talk Shib a little bit, because we were talking off air a little bit, and obviously that's what kind of brought us together. And the sentiment has kind of shifted a little bit recently in all of crypto. It's been a little quieter. There have been some macroeconomic, geopolitical factors at play that have obviously hindered the growth of crypto here in 2022. But something I say, and I think we share this thought, Shannon, is that we're still so early to crypto, right? And there's going to be ups and downs, especially in a market that is so new, right? And that saw so much growth from 2020 to this point. So what would you say to the people who are already, giving up? Because I'm hearing that a lot. Like, well, this isn't for me. I'm throwing the towel in, and particularly with SHIB, man, because I know you're still a big SHIB bull.
Yeah, I have sold some SHIB, but it was, as I said, it was basically to enter my political race so that I could say that I did it that way. But other than that, I haven't sold SHIB. But now I kind of wish I did. It'd have been great to have sold it when it was at the top and rebought, now. But I see such a dynamic in SHIB, and people are like diamond hands. Oh, unless it's starting to go down, then I don't have diamond hands. Well, that's not what diamond hands is, right?
Right.
It's when you ask people, they're like, "Oh, I'm holding for life." Well, then you don't have to watch the price, right? If you and I are talking and we're talking about, you know what, I think SHIB is an excellent investment for 5 to 7 years from now. I think I'm going to put a lot in. That I'm not going to watch it daily and then go, oh, should I get in and out, in and out, in and out? Oh my God, something happened. Let me get out.
Right.
Because that's not working my 5 to 7 year plan, right? You put an asset in, you let it sit, and you let it go. Some of them work well. Some of them fizzle out. But the thing about SHIB is it's still. I mean, I work for another token, so I work for Blue Sparrow, but it doesn't lessen the importance of SHIB in my mind, because SHIB has the ability to be the global token, right? Because it's got a lot more penetration than Bitcoin, right? And it's being adopted throughout the world. It's got use cases now that are just crazy. Right, up until just the recent, just recently, we had the SHIB burns with music and SHIB burns this and SHIB burns that, and people actually using it for currency. That's extremely important, because when we get to these countries that can't afford their own currency, this allows something like Shiba Inu to come in and be the currency of the poor, right? The people who are struggling economically can feel like they're vesting, mostly because of the power of that force multiplier, right? SHIB's got so many zeros in front of it, and if it hits that penny, what happens? It's a beautiful dream, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a dream. Because of the development team that they currently have for SHIB, right? When people first learned of SHIB, in fact, when you and I first talking, this development team really hadn't formed, right? They were still putting some ideas together. SHIB could have easily just crashed and burned. But with Satoshi and Milkshake, I mean, these people just kind of, they pushed it through that barrier. Now they're working on Terareum, right? Which based off traffic, it's got to be coming out soon, right? ShibIO, I think that's related.
Yep.
That's a beautiful site. They're really making a metaverse play. So SHIB is still a good 5-year plan, right? 4-year plan.
Yep.
Just because it's gone down doesn't mean it's lost value to me. It's one of those long-term holds. And I'll only sell it if, my family needs money or I have to pay bills or anything like that. Other than that, I'm bullish on it, because it can cross all geopolitical boundaries, right? I see that for SHIB. I don't see that necessarily for some of the other tokens, because it's the power of the SHIB army. It's a magnifier bigger than the apes and that whole posse. When you see a community of people get together like that, but you got to keep account for that, because they can move the market, right? If everyone on Twitter actually had a time plan, they could move the market.
Yeah.
But we're not that organized. But GameStop actually showed that.
Yeah.
Um,
Sure.
so it's an interesting time, right? And it's only easy to do that kind of stuff now because we're so early, right? Crypto's going up and down, but 5 years from now, it's going to be more like these stocks, to where it's going to be more on a gradual thing. But volatility really only comes to the brave, right? Fortune favors the brave. Is that the crypto.com?
That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
The people who get out are like, oh, and I get it. My wife wanted me out of crypto a long time ago. She's on board now, though, because it's paying the bills.
100%. And I think it goes back to that thing, right? It's like some people want to put down what they don't understand. And I think crypto is certainly something very new. And from what people hear about it, they think, oh no, that's bad. Why are you doing that? Right. But until you actually get into it, till you hunker down and actually understand the industry and understand that, something you said there, I think was really important, that, there's been this thing where it's like, you're either a diamond hander or you're, a paper hander. And it's like, I think it's so funny how, again, we just find ways to create these polar opposites. It's like politics, right? It's like you're either all the way over here or all the way over here. What's wrong with doing both? Like, for instance, with Shiba Inu, I have a bag that I started when I bought it at the earliest price, right? That I don't touch. That's my 2025 bag, right? Versus 3 other positions that are my trading bag. So that way you could do both. Like, you don't have to like pick one corner or the other. And I think this is really important for people to understand, because it's like you're either all in with the, being a trader and taking profits, or you're all in with just diamond handing forever. And guys, don't forget, you don't make money if you don't sell. And the other side of it's true. You don't lose money if you don't sell too, but they're both true. Right. So I think that's an important thing to mention, for sure. But Shannon, I want to ask you something just about the toxicity in crypto that we've seen a little bit, and it's frustrating for me a little bit. And I don't know if you've seen it in your personal community with Blue Sparrow. I want to ask you a little bit about that too. But do you think it's just kind of growing, these growing pains of crypto right now, and that's why we're seeing, some of this come to head? Or you think it's just because it's a bear market?
Well, the bear market has a lot to do with it, but not the only reason, right? Because when we were in a bull market, we still had it. Then it was just between Doge and Shib, right? Because it all comes down to people are looking for new ways to make money. Whether they do their due diligence or not, they make a decision to enter into a particular token. And all they're hoping now is that the entire world comes to their token so that they have a way, to either get out of debt or, to finally get a house, or maybe they're, people have all these economic issues. So they become personally invested in their token, right? And if it does well, they get excited and they want to share it. And when it doesn't do well, they want to find somebody to blame. And there's a lot of people in crypto now. Most of those people still don't understand it, right? Mm-hmm. They're looking to just make a quick dollar. They're not paying attention to the cycles in the market. And to be honest, at the beginning, when I first got into crypto, I wasn't either. In fact, I think I was talking to you, and when I said there's not a whole lot that affects crypto except for crypto. But man, it wasn't long after I said that wasn't correct at all. Right now, it's starting to be more like the world of economics, to where certain things are affecting certain things. And yeah, the war now is affecting, crypto, and, it's changed, right? Since I came in, now we have crypto.com with that Crow token, which I think is beautifully done through their infrastructure and their staking, and, how that whole thing works. Super impressive. I think the last I heard was 4% of the US is dabbling in crypto. But, with one of those being my, 13-year-old daughter who is still kind of learning things and doesn't really know squat. The people who actually know crypto is very, very low, right? Who kind of understand ins and outs, market timing, market sentiment, what indicators to actually use, so that's the difference. This the hope and poke versus the skilled trader. The skilled trader can make, beautiful living off these cycles. People are like, oh, it only keeps going up and down, up and down, up and down, but it's never keep going up and up. Well, if it's going up and down, you better be making money off of that, right? Or if you see it happen a couple times, you better start paying attention to be like, oh, maybe I'll, buy a little bit more here and I'll sell it. So people, there's a way of thinking that helps you with this, right? So let's say you have everything you have in SHIB. You're not going to touch that. You go to a brand new wallet, right? You go in, you think SHIB's at the bottom, and you buy it. Now, if it gets close to the top, you just sell it. And you're doing this in a small little wallet, and really your only goal is to start lowering your average cost, your dollar average cost, right? Let's say you screwed it up, right? You bought it, and it keeps going down. Oh, you're just like, you wait, you let it settle, you let it consolidate, and you buy some more there. But then when it gets back up, you just sell it because you're just trying to go over, the cycles in the market. And instead of trying to sell high or buy low, sell high, which is what we always want to do, really what you're doing is you're trying to sell what you think is the high, and then you go back and you buy it when it's low, which is the same exact thing, but then you don't feel like, oh, I bought it here and it went lower, now I'm screwed. No, you're great because now you can buy it and the average cost is this way. And now you only need a little bit more to get over it. I mean, that's how I finally made money in Doge. Average cost. I finally got a dollar cost average of like 13 cents. So yay, I made money in Doge.
I mean, to your point, Shannon, it's like this is a trader's dream right here. Like this is the SHIB chart, right? Like so back here in January, look how much consolidation we had just trading sideways. We knew it was creating a floor here at 2-1, right? Then we saw the huge pop, right? Then as things are coming down, like you could be DCAing here, or even just waiting to retest this bottom. I mean, look here, it did. It retested it back here in March. This is a great opportunity right here. We've been talking about this range for a while, and look, we're bouncing right off there again. And that's what I mean. It's like you could still, and I still have a bag of SHIB that's just sitting there that I got in super early, and it's my 2025 year plan. But to your point, whether you're in a bear market, bull market, you could still look at things like this and make money, even when things are not, everything's just going to the moon in a bull cycle. So, hey, there's a question on screen. I think this is a really good one, man. What would you say should be the tax rate for crypto? He says DeSantis is talking about 27%. I'm good with that, but what are your thoughts on that, Shannon?
Well, I'm a libertarian, and for those who don't know, so I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, and I think taxation is basically, if you don't pay your taxes, the government will come to your house with guns and they will arrest you, right, and charge you with tax evasion. So they forcefully remove money from you based off of what they feel like you owe society, whether you owe it or not. So when I say it that way, I'm basically saying taxation is theft, right? I don't believe the government should have the right to just come in and tax you because they didn't early in the Constitution, right? We started using taxes to pay for war debt. And they just kept doing it. Now with that, there is percentages in there that I think would be fair, but I don't actually think that I'm against taxes by and large. I think crypto can help save us from taxes because then we're starting to use DAOs and things like that. Now, what I would like to see is a way to, let's say, so I live in Raleigh, North Carolina. What if I had a DAO that was fixing public roads in my state, right? And other people from other states can participate in my DAO if they wanted to, if they were trying to, make profit off of it. But by and large, it's it's funding for the state of North Carolina, and the tokenomics are all based for North Carolina. Well, how does money get made there? Well, what they're doing is now they'll mine it, right? And as you mine it, the city, kind of like the city coin in Miami, right? You're using that to pay for the roads, and you're paying for your own roads, but these roads can now have tolls on them. The tolls go back into the system, and then the holders make money, right? So we can do this throughout the entire infrastructure of roads and schools and EMS, and all of those have models that we can do this with. And then you're paying into a system that you're actually getting money out of, or getting services from, right? You're not getting services from paying your taxes and watching them drone kids in other countries, right? You're not getting services from taking your money and giving it DOD while they go off to war. Or right now, I could be paying some tax to where there's, this benefiting people outside my community. With the use of DAOs and stuff, you may still pay taxes, but it's to your benefit, as opposed to trying to find ways to pay for everything, right? Mm-hmm. So there's some nuances in there. I think I moved to Puerto Rico to avoid the tax.
I know. I love that. That was a few, Lane put that out there a few times. And here's the thing, Shannon. I've heard of some people doing that. It could become a thing. I mean, that could be, crypto heaven. If enough people decide to
it's on my radar. Never thought that I would ever want to move to Dubai or the islands or whatever, but it's Dubai is the crypto capital of the world. And these islands are where all the exchanges and stuff are. If I'm not fighting for U.S. regulation, then maybe I'm just fighting for the world crypto. So
there's another one up there for you. Cryptoholic says, please ask him, will U.S. adopt SHIB in the future? Any chance? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't think SHIB will be adopted in the United States, but I do think that it'll be adopted in countries around the world. Mm-hmm. The United States is really going to kind of stay with more of, now they'll take it from you and they'll store the keys, right? And they'll be able to spend it for you. But and you'll have merchants and stuff be able to accept it. But whether or not like the government actually will pay you in SHIB will never happen. But it will with ETH and Bitcoin and the actual coins versus tokens, I believe.
Speaking of that, digital dollar. There's been a lot of talk about that. What are your thoughts around that? Do you think that's a direct kind of jab at stablecoins?
I think it's the government's way of trying to make money off of stablecoins. Because in their mind they're like, oh yeah, it doesn't cost us anything. We'll do this. Money will come flowing in, and we're all great. But that's not necessarily how all of that's going to work. The people have to buy into that concept, which I guess is not very much unlike what they're doing with the US dollar now. They just print. The print book's just stuck. So it's kind of like just minting their own tokens, except for we have something physical. Yeah. So to answer that question, I don't think SHIB will be adopted. I do think tokens will be, but we don't really necessarily care if the US adopts anything, right? Because we're a group of decentralized folks who we don't need government infrastructure to tell us what we can and can't do. That's why we're in the DeFi space. So it's really it's up to us for our own adoption, and we can change everything.
100%. I just dropped the stream into some other influencers too, so we might have some people joining us. Sometimes we always we have a little group chat where we just drop our streams in there and people pop on. I said if anybody has some questions for you or just wants to talk shop. But hey, man, I want to come over to Blue Sparrow a little bit and give us the breakdown here. What do you got going on with them? How long have you been working with them, and why Blue Sparrow here?
Well, that's it. That was an interesting story. I came across Terry I started the spaces. We were doing a lot of SHIB stuff. SHIB was booming, or SHIB was just kind of coming off its boom. We were ready for a boom anytime. Started doing a lot of spaces, meeting a lot of different tokens. And at that time I was really I wanted to meet a lot of different communities to see who they were, what their dynamics were, what they were trying to do with their tokens, who their holders were, what their just really trying to get an understanding of all of crypto. And I think I've done a pretty good job going, around Twitter. Now it'd be great, to start hitting, other spaces. But then the charity aspect of Blue Sparrow caught my eye. I was like, man, they're actually giving large sums of cash large sums to charities that that have long been ignored. So I joined them primarily to start working with some of these charities so that we could get Blue Sparrow to those communities. But then what we found was, I had a problem with UNICEF. They would never respond. I get on Twitter, hey, look, I've got $10,000 I'd like to donate. It'll be on a blockchain. Can I send it to your Ether? Crickets, nothing. So after a while, we're just like, hey, you know what? If they don't want our money, we're going to go find some charities on our own and do this. So now we have, we're building a village in Africa. We spent we've done like over $30,000 in donations alone, just them. But Blue Sparrow is also kind of it's a draw token. So like if you hold a small amount of the tokens, you're in a daily drawing. So every day they were giving money away to the community, whether or not the token did well. And I was like, that's kind of an interesting concept. Yeah. I read over the contract. The code and everything. I did a full deep dive on these guys. And I loved it. I was like, this is awesome. This is the charity aspect that got me into SHIB, right? I can now work with these guys and help change the world, right? And put technology in places that would never be on anybody else's scope. So that was in October, and so I've been with them for maybe five months now. Great team. I'm in charge of some of their internal development, so I'm using the schoolwork from these kids we're gamifying their artwork into an NFT game, and then we're going to pay these kids, for their NFT artwork. So we're trying to find a way to help these small communities provide money for themselves, even though they're completely off the blockchain. Mm-hmm. So that to me is just it's where I would like to see more of crypto. So when I saw that, I jumped on board. And when they offered me a position, it was an easy yes, right? Because a lot of people will ask me, hey, will you come check out this token and I'll give you money? And I'm like, no, if I do a token exchange with someone, it's because I'm probably going to start it's so that I have a position, start pimping it, and I'm going, I'm all in on tokens. But there's so many ones out there that, oh, can you do this post on my token? No, I don't know anything about your stuff. It's crazy. But SHIB, I kind of got off track. I see the SHIB chart, but SHIB has always been it was kind of my first love as a meme token. But then with Blue Sparrow, it's my community aspect, right? And it gave me my first opportunity to work directly with a token, right? Not at a level much different than I thought I would have, right? Instead of, not just an influencer, you're actually in looking at the contracts and planning out the future of these tokens. And you have thousands of people relying on you, right? Like these holders. I basically look at Blue Sparrow as a company. Well, it is a company now. It's an LLC with Bluebit. Blue Sparrow's in the last couple of days launched its own central exchange called Bluebit.io, and it's amazing. So there's so much going, and we're not even close to finishing our roadmap. So it's going to be one of those tokens. I feel like it's got a very long life. With the daily drawings and the things like that, we always will have holders. Because if you hold, right now, if you're holding like $200 worth of tokens, you have the ability to win $250 a day, or like $1,200 a week, or like $2,000 a month. Just for holding that little bit, it makes it an attractive, like basically buying a lifetime lottery ticket, right? So I love that concept.
Gotcha.
You
guys had you guys were on with Gochstein Media too. That's pretty slick. That's pretty nice. Recently, huh? A few days ago.
Yeah. That was when they launched the exchange originally.
Rodney, what's up?
What's going on, gentlemen? How you doing?
Hey, Rodney.
Good. Do you guys know each other?
No.
I don't think we've ever met.
All right. So, Rodney, Shannon is running for U.S. Senate out of the state of North Carolina. Libertarian.
Okay.
Big into crypto. I've had him on the channel back before. Here's his page right here. Huge into Shib too. So that's how we kind of connected back in November. So we're kind of circling back and talking shop again. But yeah, man, I think it's super important that we have these type of folks on, because they're the voice that can actually get shit done. Around crypto. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, man.
And I like that you're a libertarian too.
Yes.
That's awesome, man. We need more people running on. And we're starting to see it more, like people starting to run on the fact that they want to go ahead and make crypto more of a regular thing wherever they're at.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier on some of the representatives that there's buying Bitcoin, and then there's truly understanding the benefits of blockchain and the technology. Hopefully, we start to get more of them educated, right? And not just Ted Cruz saying, "No, I buy Bitcoin." I wouldn't trust Ted Cruz around any regulations on crypto at all.
Well, the fear is like these guys are going to run on it. They're going to get in office and be like, "Oh yeah, the cryptocurrency, yeah, about that thing,"
Right.
Which we see often.
Yeah, end up like our withdrawal from Afghanistan, right? Bodies all over the place.
We were supposed to be out of this since 2008. So were you in the Army?
That was in the Navy.
Oh, Navy? Okay, nice. All right. It's awesome, man. I'm in the Guard right now. I don't know if you can tell. I'm all dusty, no haircut, but weekend warrior.
Yep. So Shannon, man, I want to ask you a little bit too. Like, what do you think's coming in this next round? Because obviously, they're at the table, if you will. Biden and whoever else is kind of, talking about regulation. What do you think's coming here in the next 4 to 6 months? Do you think it starts with like stable coins? What's going to happen here?
So the big thing is we have Biden currently right now working on his executive order. I don't think he signed it yet. Putting more regulations on crypto. Not needed. Right. But the Democrats are looking for the best way to tax crypto to pay for the infrastructure bill. Now, Republicans, on the other hand, are a little more for crypto because of its pro-capitalism aspects of it. But they're also the ones saying, "Oh, I think they're buying drugs and selling children using crypto." Right. So we must regulate it. We must have control over everything. So that's on the other side of that. The nice thing about you do have the Libertarian Party, which is it's getting stronger as we go. They're decentralized everything. It's simple. I don't want to just DeFi, right? I want to de-gov. I want to de-school. I want control over everything in a small decentralized network like DAOs, right? DAOs and libertarianism is perfect together, right?
Yeah.
It puts the power of the voter, of the holder into, that DAO system. It's the answer to damn near everything I could think of with, road systems and voting and just everything. When I first got into this space, I would lay down at night, do my little 420 and I kind of try to drift off, go to sleep or whatever. And I just kind of oh man, I could do this with NFTs. And it's not artwork, right? It's all digitally produced documents that are flying around insurance companies and workflows. And, the concepts that fly through my brain are so grand. I got to figure out how to do it. Or virtual reality on a blockchain, right? Or virtual reality in the metaverse. Working on Blue Sparrow, we do daily drawings. One of the things that I'm trying to work on is how do I do a daily drawing in VR so people could actually come to the metaverse and see it. I mean, man, we got some cool stuff coming, and it's just part of me is like, if I get elected, it's going to kind of take me out of the blockchain a little bit, but the rest of it is, look, I get elected, I'm diving even more into the blockchain. I mean, there's just so much going on. There's so much power that we have right here. But we've got to make sure that the people keep control of it and that it doesn't, become the power of the government, which then by and large ruins everything because it's no longer decentralized. So,
well, dude, we appreciate the hell out of you, and really always enjoy talking to you too. And you're welcome to just hang out. But I want to jump into some of the charts here today because WAGMI is still going absolutely crazy.
Nice.
Are you in this one, Shannon?
No, I'm not.
Dude, a play to earn game, tower defense game. This thing has been just obviously the last 3 days just catapulted out of nowhere after this little consolidation. I know Rodney's in here. Rodney, where are you thinking this thing's going, man? I mean,
oh my
is
God,
it going to
to the moon,
stop?
baby.
Look at this shit.
Well, first of all, I want to touch on Shannon's point there. I did like a big research video on the metaverse, and what I really like about it is that it shows true ownership without all the paperwork. Which is crazy, which I think is a game changer. But back to WAGMI, man, freaking crazy. I'm so glad I loaded up when we loaded up. I mean, the writings on the wall, especially when you talk to Scott about it. Like, it took Scott to sit me down in a VC to really understand, like, oh, this thing has a lot to offer. The team is serious. And you could just tell by, I mean, look at the market cap and look at what they got. It's like, it's insane. So I'm like, oh, well, I got to get into this. So I think that we need a few more catalysts, right? We need the demo coming out. Then, of course, we have that big announcement they're having. But I think the biggest catalysts are going to be some smaller centralized exchanges, and then them like just being more involved in the community and more people knowing about them, because I don't think people know about them at all yet, which is crazy.
Is this back in for a game, or is it currency inside the game? What?
So the big thing they're doing, Shannon, they've got NFTs. They just had their big drop, the Genesis NFTs, and you're actually going to be able to utilize these NFTs in the game. Okay, and so there's a built-in utility. It's not just like buying a JPEG, right? Because that's what everybody says. Like, oh, just buy this nice picture of this ape, right? Like, this is legit. Like, you're going to actually be able to use this in the game. So their minting's live here. This is their NFT page. Here's their cinematic trailer. We'll just play a little bit of it. Kind of get the idea of what they're doing here. You get the idea, right? I mean, it's pretty legit.
Yeah, what I like about it too is that they want to be a Clash Royale, Clash of Clans type of tower defense game. Like, those kind of games, like, I've had Clash of Clans on my phone since 2013. Like, I just play it when I get bored, like in between, on commercials, at the DMV, at the Social Security office. Like, when you have some downtime, and the fact that you can combine that with the NFTs, and there's really big perks for the Genesis NFTs, and to me, like, that kind of idea in this space right now, like, I don't think anyone's really doing. They're just trying to. A lot of projects come out, and I've seen third dime a dozen. They'll have those nice cinematic trailers, but they'll be putting out this like huge game that they're saying that's going to be done within a year, which is, you can't put out a huge game like that. But this Tower Defense 1 game, super manageable, makes sense, and very addicting. So a lot of potential.
Yeah, we're actually too supposed to get gameplay this week. The game itself supposed to be out sometime this month, and they kind of did it the opposite way. To Rodney's point there, Shannon, and to everybody else out there listening, where like they didn't come out and say, "Hey, we're going to launch this token. We got a game coming out in 12 months." They were working on it before, and then they launched token and said, "Hey, we got one coming out in 3 months," and we're like, "For real?" We're not just blowing smoke. So I think they kind of looked around and saw that this is what a lot of people are doing, and people don't like it, because then you've got to engage a community for 10 to 12 months or 8 months or whatever without having a product. That's hard to do in crypto.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I tried to get into, that's one of the things that, since you and I had met in October, in December, January, I started doing the game stuff. We tried to do DD on, what was that? Zogi or whatever was kind of the one I gravitated to, because the graphics were great, the community was great, but the token, I've lost about 50% on it. I don't necessarily know the best way to do DD on some of these games, because I haven't seen enough of them yet. Because I just go off of, that game looks cool, I'll buy some of the tokens, and like, well, it's not really mapping out, that well. So it's great to see this one. I'd love to see it on a pullback so I can jump in.
Yeah, no, dude. I think you bring up some good points, man, too. The gaming space, we know it's going to be massive, dude, right? We know it's going to be big. The metaverse space, we know it's going to be big, but like how we exactly invest in it, I think it's tough right now because it's so new. We don't like, what is the metaverse really? Like, what does the metaverse look like? Is it going to be one big player in the end? Is it going to be 3 big players? Is everybody going to have their own metaverse? Nobody really knows. And gaming, same thing. I think there are so many good projects, but also so many that will fail. But we know it's going to be big, right? I mean, gaming itself is a $40 billion industry without crypto. And now you're going to enter, crypto into the fold.
Well, then we go ahead.
What I was going to say about the metaverse and gaming. Yeah, and you already saw, not really the metaverse, but the difference is that Tezos and Ubisoft made a little partnership a couple months back, and it's good. But I think the issue, and I think the biggest like perk of video games on the blockchain is the fact that they're DAOs, right? So like we talked about earlier, the fact that you can have all these NFTs and skins in Fortnite, but what happens if the company goes bankrupt, and then those skins and everything you have in game are gone? And then when they introduce new proposals and stuff like that, well, they just do them. They don't really take a vote for the people. I mean, maybe sometimes they do, but they usually just do things to do things. And I think, video games on the blockchain, well, they're going to be more of a DAO. So maybe more power to the people, more people can vote on them. And then, your NFTs always exist on the blockchain. They're yours. They're not the games, they're yours. So I think that's a good angle, but it's going to be hard to tell who the real winners are going to be in the long term. That's the hard part.
Yeah, that's great points. Yeah. Shannon, do you have something on that?
It's just, you have Microsoft getting into the game, right? With, I haven't validated that whole SHIB deep dark connection and stuff, but I do know that they've been in blockchain for a while. They are getting into the blockchain game space. How deep that goes with SHIB, I don't know. I'm not a blue badge anymore, but it would be great to be on. I would love to go back to Microsoft to work on this project. With their blockchain stuff. So, because when they get involved, it either is awesome or it sucks. There's no in between.
Yeah, for sure. We got to. I don't know if you've been getting into these pre-sales a lot, Shannon, but there seems to be a lot of opportunities here with these pre-sales recently. The big one recently was CVC. Did you hear about that one?
I haven't.
Okay, CVC was a coin view cap. They're kind of aiming to be like a different coin gecko that kind of represents all cryptos as their market cap should be. But that was a big one. This is another big one today coming up at noon, guys. So a couple hours away. BTFA. We've got that going live here 2 hours plus. But yeah, it's interesting to see just how everything's shifting, Shannon, especially in a bear market. It seems like a lot of people going to these pre-sales, and as long as they don't rug it, I mean, you're pretty much going to 2-3x. It feels like. What do you think about that, Rodney?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, they're super risky, because you always run the risk of bot attacks and just everything that could go wrong in a pre-sale launch.
Yep.
And honestly, pink sale is not the best because it doesn't require like a KYC. I think what was that Poolio?
I like that one, man. Yeah.
Yeah, they require a KYC, and then sometimes I know it's a little wonky to claim your tokens, but when you're in a pre-sale, well, usually when you're just on a regular fair launch, like you're worrying about getting slipped on the way in, like with the slippage, and then sales tax and buy tax, and then you're worried about getting slipped on the way out. So it's hard to make a profit, right? But if you're in on a pre-sale, man, you're in, and then when it launches, all you have to do is worry about selling, or getting rid of your initial investment or whatever profit you want. So man, pre-sale is a huge advantage, but like you could get wrecked. I mean, I got wrecked on Dox token, really bad. So
yeah, there's a lot of risk associated with it, but I mean, if you're willing to take that risk, you're right. I mean, you don't have to worry so much about getting that initial purchase, because that's the hard part on these initial launches, man, is actually getting in. This one will be interesting, I think, though, Rodney. And there's only 40 ETH here in the presale, which isn't a lot compared to like CVC and some of these other ones. So maybe the demand will be a lot higher at launch, which again could be shitty if you're trying to get in right when it launches. But I felt like CVC, everybody who wanted to get in got in on the presale. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it kind of just was flat when it went live. At least it is right now. But it could reverse. We'll see. But yeah, a lot of money to be had in these pre-sales, guys, and definitely stay locked here if you're willing to take the risks. Shannon, what are you looking at right now, man? What are some cryptos that nobody's talking about that are on your radar, man?
VVL. I'm going to pull up my wallet.
Yeah,
I've been doing a lot with VVS, and the DeFi crypto.com. They have like a pairing of Pro and VVS that has been quite rewarding me well. Blue Sparrow, I'm always in. Man, I started dumping stuff over the last couple of weeks. Things that I kind of thought were going to turn around. I haven't. I'm not going to blast anyone wide open here, but I'm waiting to see what Mandox does. They're in the middle of a transition.
That's a good point.
I think.
Yeah, a lot of people were freaking out, guys. That's why they're just they're moving to V2. So yeah, don't worry. Everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, Mandox is a rug."
Liquidity dropped to zero.
Yeah. No, we're good. It's all good. It's been talked about. People were freaking out a little bit last night on that, so they came out with an official announcement. Mandox is not a rug, but yeah, go ahead, Shannon. Sorry about that.
Yeah, and really more. I'm doubling down on Crow lately. So I'm not really doing a lot of new stuff. Because I'm not seeing anything move, right? I'm just kind of buying and things are just kind of consolidating. But I do have lots of little things all over, right? Like I'll throw a little of this, I'll keep a little of this in Saitama, and I'll keep a little of this in, Impact XP, just what if, right? If they moon and return to their all-time highs, I'll make money. If not, then no big deal, right? So it's more fishing. But I really like a lot of these financial plays because their staking rewards are sometimes in the hundreds or 1,000%, and that's income that's that you can make $200 or $300 a day just in staking. That to me is a game changer. So I'm starting to really kind of focus on the DeFi staking at the crypto.com level, though, as opposed to it's a lot different than Shiba Swap, right?
Yeah.
So understanding a lot of, and there's other ones out there. Someone had me look at like MMS or MM, or I don't know. There's a lot of DeFi financial plays out there, but the rewards are amazing.
Yeah, you know, a good point there on staking, dude. So I want to ask you this. How long do you think it lasts? Like, how long do you think we can head over to Anchor on the Anchor protocol and get 19.84% on USDT? I mean, it's great, but it's like, shit. I mean, I don't know if that's going to last.
No, well, what are your bank? Your banks can't touch that. I mean, 6% used to be an awesome number. You can't even touch that now. And I can make more than that staking in one day than it would take me a year of having my money in a bank.
Yeah, 100%, dude. It's insane. But we were talking about it earlier, Rodney, like why they might come after stablecoins first, because it's like, wait a minute, they ain't going to keep their money in a bank.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, stable coins, man. I mean, those are the things those are the first things that regulation's going to hit. Anything that you can get on the centralized exchange.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. But, you know, it's more like one of those things like get with it. Just get with it, you know? Figure it out.
It's happening. Yeah. Figure it out. Find a way to get your pound of flesh like you always do anyway.
Yeah.
And we'll be cool with that. We'll be cool with that. I mean, it's fine. We're already used to, you know, dishing out dough around this time of year. So let's do it. Whatever we got to do. For sure. So somebody said, Timsky said MMF. So Matt, is that the one you're talking about?
MMF is the one I play with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. So doing a lot of staking. Go ahead, Rodney.
I got a boogie on out, guys.
Yeah. Oh, Rodney's live at 11, right? In an hour?
Yes, but I put a message up. There's a shortage. My internet is out in my area. So hopefully it's up by then. I hate Spectrum. Spectrum sucks, but it's the only
the worst. Dude, I had it where I was at. Dude, it's the worst.
Jeez. All right, guys. Have a good one, Zach. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, it was nice meeting you.
Let's connect sometime.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
See you, man. Yeah, Rodney's a good dude. He's funny, man. He goes into some total degen plays, but you know, he loves it, man. He's all about like these launches and pre-sales, and good dude. So yeah, we'll make sure you guys connect. But yeah, man, staking. So what else? Anything else you're kind of dabbling in or looking at?
No, there's more things I'm not looking at, right? People have asked me to check out their tokens, and sometimes I'll go visit Telegram and things will blow up. I'm in someone's Telegram, but when I look at their token, I'm like, I can't. It may or may not be a good token, but it's not one that I can get behind, you know? Yeah. So there's just so many meme tokens coming out, so many of them with or without purpose. It's really kind of hard to figure out which ones. Baby Doge, I blew past the first time. Now I hear it's doing great. I should have probably paid attention to it. Yeah, but there's some that I was really super bullish on ICP, you know, when you and I first met.
Yeah.
And, you know, all that thing has continued to do is consolidate around now at $20. Mm-hmm. I bought it average cost down until I finally made money, and then I got rid of it. It was just, it's still a great technology. They're just not making any money with it right now.
Yeah, man.
What other ones are? I used to do a lot. Go get on Coinbase, right, with the little ads, and they do those little tokens. They give you $2 or $3, and you kind of go through. I haven't done that in a while, but I did kind of like to see the things on workflow and, you know, new business cases, because then those are the ones that you can kind of really kind of have a utility or purpose for, and do some long-term planning, more like, you know, Microsoft and Apple and, you know, Nike and those kind of stocks. Mm-hmm. But speaking of gambling, I know that someone's trying to do gambling on the blockchain. I forget who.
There's a few of those out there now, dude, where I think there's definitely a use case. The problem I see is like regulation and what is that going to look like? I mean, you're talking about crypto and gambling, like, oh shit. I get it though. I mean, it makes sense. Like, you know, online casinos and pay with crypto. I think there's a use case for sure, but the regulation side of that, I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to be the trendsetter in that market.
So. No. Hey man, I'm gonna wrap this up in a few minutes. First off, I gotta tell you, just thank you so much for popping on, and you're welcome on the channel anytime, bro.
Oh, absolutely. It was great catching up with you.
Yeah, make sure you guys are following Shannon's page over here on Twitter, guys. He's a candidate for U.S. Senate. He is, he's fighting for people like us in crypto at the highest level of government. So make sure you give him a follow. We need more people like Shannon that got our backs, right? Especially if you're a U.S. citizen. But even more so than that, as Shannon was talking earlier, man, this is beyond just the U.S. and one state. This is setting a trend for the future of cryptocurrency and where we're going. So. But hey, I want to close it out with this, man, because you and I will both be out at this event out in Vegas. Really looking forward to it, man. Coming up this September, ShibaCon. I'm pumped for this, bro. I'm excited.
Now, the crazy thing is I'm already committed to ShibaCon, even though this is right before the election. So I could have events in here in North Carolina, and I'm going to spend that time, at ShibaCon. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, man, I'm pumped for it too. They've got an official date or an unofficial date, but I can't release it yet. I'm going to let them do that because that's only fair. But I know about when it's going to be, and I know where it's going to be. It's an awesome location, guys. It's not a traditional conference. It's not buttoned up and conference style. This is going to be fun. And for those of you who can't get into the actual conference, they are going to have virtual tickets sold for this. And their hope is for this thing to become much, much bigger down the road. This is kind of their first pilot ShibaCon, but I'm going to Bitcoin Miami, Shannon. This could be a 30,000-40,000 plus event in a couple of years, and it's
yeah. All we need is one bull run.
That's it, man.
It will. The masses will be here.
Yeah, man. We'll be here, and when that next bull run happens, dude, and Shib's flying high, we'll get together again, and heck, maybe even before then. But always a pleasure, man. Appreciate it so much, taking time, and have a great day, man. Enjoy.
Hey, you too, brother. Everyone, have a great day.
Yep.
Talk to you later.
Okay, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, as always, right here on the live stream, Monday through Friday, and I'll have some more videos out later today too. Take care, everybody. Have a good one.